Recordings. There we go. All right, everybody. Welcome to the model pack, model spec discussion meeting as usual. We do seem to have a good mix of people here. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't already done so, please add your name to the meeting notes. Oh, I should drop the meeting notes into the chat to make it easier for everybody. All right, those are now in the chat. Okay, so we can jump right in. There was a first agenda item was just about the project onboarding. It looks like a few things have been done, but there's still some things missing. In general, I think the easy stuff for everybody to do individually is there is a need to review and understand the CNCF IP policy, the third-party license policy, trademark guidelines, things like that, as well as some of their kind of governance things, technical leadership principles, yeah, all that kind of stuff. So the first couple sections of issue 385, which is the first agenda item, list all that stuff out. So you can go ahead and do that independently. Each of you should join, or sorry, those who are maintainers should join the Maintainers Circle Slack channel if you're not in there already. I don't think we have a domain, so I don't think we have a domain to transfer. Let me know if I'm mistaken, but I don't recall there being a domain.
No, we don't.
Yeah, similarly, we don't have artwork, I don't think. So a few of these things are not really going to be very relevant. We'll have to get things like code of conduct and governance, security policy, all that stuff done, but that's pretty easy. There are templates already within the CNCF. So yeah, this should be pretty light, actually. Is there someone who kind of wants to take the lead on some of the items that are not just everybody needs to read the same docs?
I can take the lead on the logo. I've had some prior conversations on other projects on how to set up a logo, so I can take the lead on the logo. And I'm in service desk already, so I could potentially look at restarting the issue on that. But
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, that's super helpful. Appreciate that. Like I said, we don't have a domain. Sorry, I'm just trying to go through this. I guess if you're already in the service desk, Andrew, do you mind sending over the maintainer emails there as well?
yeah, I can go ahead and do basically a lot of the back office stuff.
Awesome.
Get going.
That's fantastic. Really appreciate that. Okay, good. All right. And then in the repo, we just need to add some of those code of conduct and governance, security policy, all that stuff. Actually, I can probably help with some of that. Policy repo. Okay. That should cover off a lot, actually, of this. We don't currently have a website, so there's a bunch of the stuff that gets easier.
We're using DCOs, not a CLI, right?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually don't know.
I mean, if that's the case, I can just enable DCO right
Okay.
now, even.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Domains, website. Okay, good. Oh, and then we have to import the project repos into either Fossa or SNCC.
Yeah, that one comes later.
It comes later? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I assume this
The
thing, Gorkum, for the CLO monitor, LFX insights, all that stuff?
yeah, uh,
Okay.
the CNCF staff basically pings us for it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we can wait for them. Okay, then that sounds like we've got the big stuff covered.
Do we
Yeah,
need to determine the domain name?
Yeah, I assume so. I don't think that's something that CNCF would determine for us. I think we determine it and then get it and then transition it to them.
I think it'd be nice to, now that we have everything over into an org, to start to make this a little more public. So being able to put a issue out in the org for domain name suggestions, and then we have discussions more in public. If that's okay.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Just checked. Modelpack.io is still available.
Sorry, modelpack.io.
Yeah, it's available right now.
Okay.
May
What I'll
But I
do-
heard the IO suffix
Yeah,
is not good
Well,
because
one suggestion, if I may, if I remember correctly, the .io domains are going to be subject to some restructuring. So before opting for a .io, I would recommend checking if that is going to be confirmed. If I remember correctly, there are some policies that are going to be enacted in the future, but at the TLDR TLD level for .io, so maybe it's worth to consider to check if that one was the status and eventually a different extension.
Isn't it like owned by Trinidad and Tobago or something, and they're going ahead and giving it away or something? So yeah, there are some rules around that. I'm going to create the issue later today, and we can have the discussions about what we want the naming to be in that issue in the org.
Sounds
Hey,
good.
Andy, I'm creating the issue as we
Oh, perfect.
speak. So
Great.
I'll just create it. You don't need to worry about it. And the DCO is taken care of as well.
Great, thanks, Borglum.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I'm just going to update the note here. So Gorkum has enabled DCO. Okay. Where's the DCO part? Oh, right. This is the one I can't directly edit. Okay. So I will update the thread about some of these things. Okay. Okay. Okay, excellent. Anything else on the CNCF checklist?
About modelpack.ai.
Yeah, I think we can, Peng, I think we can let's discuss that in the thread so that it's public in the you know, in the organization. Gorkum, once you've got that issue created, maybe just drop the link in this chat and I'll move it into the doc.
Yeah, I'll also.
Or yeah, you could just drop
Yeah.
it directly in the doc, actually. Thank you. Okay, then there was a separate one about project governance, but I thought that that had to be in the repo and was dictated pretty strictly with the CNCF, by the CNCF. Was there something else that we were thinking about with that particular item?
Usually there will be a community repo that holds their organization-wide policies. Do we want to go with that direction or just save it in the model spec?
Yeah,
the
personally, I mean, personally, it seems like it'd be better to just keep it with model specs so it's all in one place so people don't need to flip between multiple repos. It's a relatively simple project from that perspective, but I'm, open to have folks disagree. Going once, going twice. Okay. We'll create these in the model pack repo itself to keep things contained to a single repo. Okay. Okay.
About this, shall we discuss will we restore the maintainership of the original model spec project? Because right now, only three of us are owner of the organization, and most of the folks are kept outside of it.
Oh, okay.
Three of us, I mean Chris, Gorkan, and me. We were given the admin privilege of the organization, but all other folks are just members without
Oh, you
admin
mean like,
privilege.
yeah, we need to restore their privileges to the new organization, new repos,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, we need to do that. We need to
Okay.
do that. I completely forget about it, that those are gone when we move the repo.
Okay, so update organization for model pack. Reinstate container rights for all the model pack maintainers at the organization level. Okay, so Gorkum, you're going to do that?
Yeah, I will. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, I'm glad that was called out. Thanks, Peng. Okay, next, handling LoRa models. There was an issue 60 talking about this. I'd like to open that one up. Sorry, any comments on this one, or should we move on? Looks like it's had a reasonably robust discussion. I don't know, are there concerns about where it ended?
Just want to push things forward, and what I can say is that we have two options. One is using the OCI field, the subject field. The other is just defining our own annotation for this. So, folks, do you have any preference?
For the LoRa adapters, you mean like the subject field, but not the annotation, right? Or do you suggest that it should be annotation?
Subject in OCI means that these two artifacts are strongly connected. That if we remove the base model, the LoRa model should be removed as well. So do we want this nature or not?
Yeah, we don't want that, but then of course, when you move the base model, the adapters will become pretty useless at that point because it's broken, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have an annotation, like that's my dilemma as well. It's like if you have an annotation, then if in some manner the base model is moved or deleted, then your adapters are unusable at that point, but you're not even aware of it.
Yeah,
With
yes.
subject, I have a feeling that not all the registries are going to do the removal.
I believe the removal action is defined by the spec. And you do recall on that?
Yeah, I think it does it on the same repo, but I don't know if it does it cross repo. That's why I'm like I'm not sure if it does it on between repositories. So if your base model is in the same repository as the um, as your um, adapters, I think that would work because that's pretty much how the signing works. But what happens if it is cross repo? And the other question is what happens if your base model is on a completely different registry?
Yeah. So let's check out the OCI specification offline and then decide on this. Is it okay?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
I mean, let's check the OCI specification.
Yeah.
What's the defined behavior, and then we decide on this.
I mean, the OCI, when you do have an extends base kind of relationship, what it does is it basically inlines the like for Docker images, it just inlines all the layers into the extended OCI artifact or OCI image. So that's kind of the behavior that exists or that it exists today. I haven't seen any other kind of behavior for the extends behavior of OCI
Yeah,
artifacts.
the subject field when we were discussing the OCI reference artifact spec at that point.
Yeah.
The cross repo reference is one of the important example that
Yeah.
that spec was trying to resolve, but I do not know what went into the spec, how they define this. So I need to check it out.
Yeah, and we may have to have limitations like I look we can also think about it that way as well, because if you do cross mounting on some of the registries allow you to do cross mounting between repositories, but cross mounting between registries is not possible. So like perhaps you can refer to a base model as long as it's in the same registry, maybe, right? We may need to think about that as well. But yeah, I agree. Let's go back to the spec a little bit and understand, the cross mounting aspects. I don't remember them by heart right now. So let's continue the discussion on the issue then.
Yeah.
There is another option. We can put the field in the config object.
So I can tell you the good thing and the bad thing about that approach, because we do that on GitOps. The good thing is
Okay.
you're not limited by anything that comes from OCI at that point. The bad thing is it only works for your tool. Like none of the other standard tools will remember or understand that you are actually extending a base. So the standard, for instance, the OCI image mounting in that case will not work because it just doesn't know.
Okay.
And that's the
Yeah.
other side of it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So it's a like we did it. It's how the LoRa adapters are supported today in GitOps. We're not 100% happy with it.
Okay, understand.
So if we can think of a better way, that would be awesome.
The advantage of put the fields in the configure, I think because I think it's we can put many fields, like we can reference to the base model, and we can also reference to the data set. We can reference to multiple image.
Yeah, the multiple images is that's at this we decided not to do that. That becomes a huge issue. Data set becomes another different issue. But
Yeah.
let's not get them into the discussion yet. But like, let's assume that we want to just extend one base, right? But we want to extend one base model because we haven't seen any case where you're trying to extend two base models. There may be multiple files on the base model, but that doesn't matter because a model pack can host multiple files in it. But as far as we can see, the only use cases there is one model, whether that's a single file or multiple files, and you have adapters for it. So I think that's the case that the 99% of the time that's the case for the model LoRa adapters. So I agree with the additional fields and additional metadata, but then if the functionality depends on that additional metadata in config, then the tooling has to be your tooling. It's like there isn't any OCI standard at that point. So like we lose, like we can't mount LoRa adapters at that point through OCI images, for instance, OCI image mounting, for instance.
Yeah, we can continue to discuss for that.
Yeah. Let's discuss it a little bit because we have a little bit of experience with that. What works and what not, we can tell. But we tried one way, and I'm not 100% happy with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move to the next issue.
Sorry, folks, I was talking on mute. Yes, we can we can move on to the next issue. All right, so the next one is talking about the media type CNAI to CNCF conversion. Is this one controversial?
No.
No, I think this is just something we just need to do, right? Because we're all in agreement. Okay. Okay. I'll just capture. Everyone is in agreement to change to CNCF. Okay. And then the naming convention is 66. I hadn't had a chance to look at this one yet. we should have consistent formats. I think this is another one that probably just needs to be done, I think.
Yeah, like agree on camel case or snake case, and
Yeah.
do we like camels? Do we like snakes? And continue with it.
Do
And
we
let's
want
do camel because this is Go code.
I think
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure.
another reason
I
is
like
that
camels
it's
better than
a
snakes.
OCI image spec convention use the camel case, I think.
because they use Go code as well.
Yes.
Does
Yeah.
anybody, I guess, does anybody not want camel case? All
I
right.
just want
Camel
tabs
is-
and not spaces. Is that?
Oh God, don't start that.
You
All
had to
right.
go there, Gorkin. You had to go there.
Hey.
I have to leave sometime in the next like 2 days, so let's not start that. Okay. Moving on to the next one. Is it necessary to have? Why do these things look the same to me? Oh, I see. Doc and code raw.
Yeah, for the sake of that discussion or easing that discussion, I think that the original request was, oh, should we drop it from docs and code, the raw type? And it became something of a, oh, do we even need the raw type? I don't know if that's going in the right direction of a decision right now. So I would rather like, let's concentrate on whether we want the raw type on docs, anything other than model, what weights, and see if we can conclude that. And then if we want to continue on discussing the raw type and the naming of the raw type on model weights, let's do that.
Yeah, first
Okay.
I don't think we need the raw type for doc and code, so we can drop that.
Okay, I agree with that. Yeah. Okay, so that's easy. Let's do that. For the model weights, whether they are needed or not is one question. Should we actually explicitly call them raw is the second question. The argument on the discussion is if you follow it, even if you need a raw type, you shouldn't actually call it raw. You should just not call it anything else, which is fair. But then there's also another argument on the issue that there shouldn't be a raw type. Everything should be tar as well. So which one is easier to that we can reach to a decision? I feel like the naming is going to be easier.
Yeah.
And is everyone feeling strongly about keeping the raw at the end?
Oh, we also talked about octa
Yeah.
string.
Yeah,
About that one if raw isn't working.
we did, but we discussed it a little bit more. I don't think that helps either. The discussion on the issue, and to be honest, maybe even makes that a little bit more ambiguous. The octet stream is. So I'm okay with not having the raw type, raw suffix to indicate that it's a raw type. We still have the raw type, it's just not named .raw at the end. Anyone
Yeah,
feeling?
at least I strongly believe that we need a media type for the raw. So we whatever we call it, or do we need have the prefix or not? Suffix or not. But as long as we have a media type for it, I'm okay.
Okay. So we're okay to drop the raw type then. Not the raw suffix, not type itself. All right. Then it's concluded. We are dropping the media type from anything other than model weights. So that's data sets, code, documentation. And we're
Shall we keep it for the data sets?
let's discuss the data sets a little bit further down the line. We have some experience with the data sets, and in very, very large data sets, people do not even want to put them into the OCI artifact itself, but we can discuss it separately and then introduce it to the data sets if we want to. Like, the reason why I'm saying that our experience on the GitOps project has been that people like to refer to their data sets, but not essentially keep them on a registry.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can talk about it separately and introduce it if we want to.
Yeah, we can defer it to question. Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't have the use case to package dataset yet as well.
Yeah, I mean we had a few adopters, customers who actually had data sets of at the terabyte level, and they have some experiences that we learned from.
Okay, so sorry, I captured the first one. We are dropping the raw media type from anything other than model.
Raw suffix from the media type.
Pardon me. Yes, thank you.
And then we are dropping the raw media type for code, doc, and data sets.
Okay, no, those are two separate things. Okay, so I was right the first time.
Yeah.
You're dropping the raw media type altogether from anything other than model, and we are dropping the raw suffix from media type for model. Is that right?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Okay, good. Finally, we are at the thing that I kind of wanted to talk about. How did KubeCon China go? What's the download?
Yeah, it's a surprise that
Oh, did we lose?
for the project and in the panel we almost have half of the room or a little more than half of the room sitting people, but we forgot to take photos. That's why we didn't post any photos in the Slack channel. We literally forgot to ask anyone to take photos for us. But there are since they have official photo streams, but they only came out about 2 weeks later after the KubeCon. So we have to wait for some photos.
Actually, the video has been uploaded to YouTube.
Oh, that's great.
So at least we can get a screenshot.
And we were talking in Chinese, so we already started a little bit in English, and we totally switched into Chinese because all the
I'm sure
attendees are
YouTube has.
Chinese.
I'm sure YouTube has options to translate for us, non-Chinese speakers. So there's technology that can help us.
That's right.
Yeah, you have AI.
That's right. Anything, you could do anything with AI. Okay, so does somebody mind actually linking the video on YouTube in the agenda doc, just so we've got it? But that's great. And did the audience, were there any audience questions, or did they seem engaged?
After the panel, we did have some post-panel discussion with some folks from Kuaishou, and that is a video company in China, similar, just smaller TikTok, and
Okay.
they are already packaging the models in OCI formats and distributing in their network right now.
Oh, cool.
And
Nice.
we also discussed a little bit how to boost the reference engine startup time, things like that. But it's great to see actual use case outside our circle.
That's awesome. And
And
thank you for the notes. Awesome. Any other
and also
exciting discussions? Yes.
and
what's up?
also we had some discussion with some Alibaba folks who is responsible for model distribution, and they're from the Fluid project. They're also a CNCF project, and they are very interested in cooperating with ModelPack, and we started to discuss some integration between ModelPack, Dragonfly, and Fluid. So maybe a few months later, we can have some end-to-end demo show out.
Awesome. Good. Excellent. All right. I unfortunately have to drop. Are there any other topics for discussion?
Not from my side.
Excellent. All right, everyone. I think we can close the call. This was a great discussion. We got through a lot of stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day. Bye bye.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thank you.